Hey guys, and welcome back to Retro Randy. Today is gonna be a good one because I finally picked up a figure that's been sitting on my radar for quite some time. And honestly, I didn't really know how much I wanted this figure until I had it in my hand. We're talking about Psycho from the Toxic Crusaders. And yeah, this thing is just as wild as it sounds. Look at this guy. I mean, right off the bat, he's everything you want out of early 90s toy design. Bright colors, exaggerated features, just completely unhinged in the best way possible. You've got that classic gross out aesthetic, mutant, twisted, over the top, but it still somehow feels like a toy line that was meant to be fun. And that's kind of what makes this whole line special. So this one's complete, and that was a big deal for me. If you know anything about this line, then you know that finding all these little accessories, not always an easy task. So when I found Psycho in this condition, with all of his accessories included, I really didn't have a choice but to pick him up. The sculpt is just insane. There's so much personality packed into this figure. It doesn't feel generic in any way whatsoever. Every angle, every little detail just screams that weird, toxic, cartoon chaos that this line is so well known for. And it really got me thinking. You know, as much as I like this figure, the Toxic Crusaders line as a whole is one of those things that feels bigger than just any one piece. It's weird, it's messy, it's loud, and somehow it all works. So instead of me trying to break down the entire line on my own, I figured, why not bring in someone who's been deep in the trenches with this stuff? So I reached out to a fellow collector who I met at Toylanta, by the way, and didn't have a single camera running. So that's on me. But he knows this line inside and out. So I said, hey, let's get a little toxic with this one. So I'm gonna let him take it from here.
Hey, I'm always down to get a little toxic. I'm Steven, aka Toymanoids, and thank you for having me on because I do enjoy talking about Toxic Crusaders because, quite frankly, I think it's a toy line that doesn't really get enough love. So the Toxic Crusader line came out in the early 90s, based on the cartoon adaptation of the Toxic Avenger, which, if you know anything about the source material, it's kind of wild that it even became a kid's toy line in the first place. But that's what makes it so interesting. So you had Playmates, who are dominating the toy aisle with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then they took that same formula, bright colors, exaggerated sculpts, and tons of personality. They had Varner Studios, who had made tons of amazing Ninja Turtles, and they sculpted the good guys, the bad guys, and they cranked it into full-on toxic insanity. Every action figure in this line feels unique. You got crazy proportions, weird mutations, translucent parts, oversized features. Nothing about these feels safe or generic. They really leaned into the whole gross but fun thing, and it worked. And then you have the play features, which is a huge reason why people still love this line today. These weren't just made to be display pieces. They were made to be messed with. The weapons are ridiculous, but in the best way. Mops, slime gear, over-the-top blasters. It all fits that toxic cleanup theme, but in this really creative, almost parody-like way. Now, from a collector standpoint, this can be a challenging line, because finding a figure complete with all of its accessories intact, it can be kind of tough. You have pieces that get lost, you have parts that can get broken, the colors can fade over time. So, when you do find a complete figure, like that Psycho, you got you a pretty solid pickup. And the deeper you go into this toy line, the more you realize there really aren't many toy lines that look or feel like this. It's got that same lightning in a bottle energy as the early TMNT, but with its own weird and radioactive identity. So yeah, whether you're in it for nostalgia, the design, or just chasing something a little bit different, Toxic Crusaders is absolutely a line worth collecting. So yeah, I really appreciate you for letting me jump in on this one. Now I'm curious to see where you go next with it.
Alright, huge thanks to Steven from Toymanoids for dropping all that knowledge. And honestly, it just kind of reinforces what I was feeling from holding this one. This isn't just a cool pickup. This is one of those figures that kind of opens the door. Because now, yeah, I'm in. Hearing all that, seeing how deep this line goes, how much personality is packed into every figure, I'm not just happy with Psycho anymore. I'm officially on the hunt. This might be the start of something dangerous for my wallet, but honestly, that's what makes this hobby so fun. One figure turns into a shelf. One shelf turns into a collection. And before you know it, you're chasing down the entire Toxic lineup. Let me know down in the comments, did you collect Toxic Crusaders back in the day? Do you have a favorite figure from the lineup? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and remember, the past isn't gone, it's just waiting to be rediscovered.